Shalom, praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Harakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone to rule well. Shalom to the brothers in the wax, sharing truth. Um, yeah, got this article in the news about this, assassination of, Hamas leader. Where was it? This happened like in Iran. So it's kind of wild because it's this shit's moving like a fucking James Bond assassination or some shit where they he's looking like they set this shit up in advance and just had like were ready to blow that place to high heaven. Um, just whenever someone would visit, I guess that was worth blowing that shit up, which is kind of wild because it then just like that's another level of conflict where it's not really been there. It's been because they've done the U.S. obviously did like the the strikes on targets. I mean, I believe it was in Syria, but then doing it like in Iran, having it like assassination where this nigga just got blown the fuck up. It's wild still. So it's on the news. It says bomb smuggled into Tehran guest house months ago killed Hamas leader. And it says Ismail Haniyeh, a top leader of Hamas, was assassinated on Wednesday by an explosive device covertly smuggled into the Tehran guest house where he was staying, according to 7 Middle Eastern officials, including 2 Iranians and an American official. Yeah, so this guy. So then they obviously, and that's how like this warfare that what you hear about on on the news, where they say, oh yeah, there's no thing. I'm like, bro, it's like how the fuck is just this guy staying in the house. That shit, this guy went to take a dump and that shit got blown to fucking high heaven, bro. Like this guy's legs he got exploded, bro. But again, it shows like what the top level layer of what you see. That's barely gonna quantify what's really going on out here. So as far as you might hear and think, oh, World War Three kicked off. Russian blood, like Russian US, they're doing like a prisoner swap currently. This is like the biggest prisoner swap since the Cold War. I'm not sure how many people it is altogether because I don't think they've said, but they meant to have landed. Actually, they might have. I've not checked it this morning, but there might be more info on it. I have to look into it, but there's as far as what's happening beneath the surface, where it's not going to be in newspapers, where you're not going to see people talking about. There'll be missions, operations, all kinds of shit you wouldn't even know. The level and complexity to which the war's going down, you're not gonna know. But then this guy getting his blown. He was he might have been getting his dick sucked, man. He was in the guest. He might have been like, oh yeah, bring in the Princess Jasmine's. Then they had Princess Jasmine come in the red outfit, and then they got blown to hell. Um, So it says the bomb had been hidden approximately 2 months ago in the guest house, according to 5 of the Middle Eastern officials. The guest house is run and protected by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and is part of a large compound known as Nashat in an upscale neighborhood of northern Tehran. So yeah, because it was run by the Revolutionary Guard, they would have known to an extent that it's they would have known to an extent that it's going to be a place where they kind of keep, it might be generals, it might be, different military officials, different government officials, where they know it's like, okay, we can plant something there and blow that shit up when there's a confirmed target in there, which they succeeded. But it says what Mr. Haniyeh was in Iran's capital for the presidential inauguration. The bomb was detonated remotely, the 5 officials said. Once it was confirmed that he was inside the building at the guest house, the blast also killed a bodyguard. So yeah, it's wild still. you know, but then it's I'm just looking at it like, as far as it's a sign. It really shows this, this warfare. People are thinking like, oh, it's on X, like the shit can pop off at the drop of a hat. Really, there's been enough justifications on all sides for China with Taiwan, Russia, Ukraine, and the Middle East. The Palestinian conflict is got people drawn in. Syria's got people drawn in. Iran's got people drawn in. The even with Iran, it's been what the nuclear material, the enriching uranium. That's really been the point. But again, it's what the four winds. Angels holding back the four winds. That's really what it is. The reason it's not popped is because why there's prophecies that need to pass. But then really, it's this thing is already got messy, man. Because of what the explosion shook the building, shattered some windows, and caused a partial collapse of an exterior wall, according to the two Iranian officials, members of the Revolutionary Guards, briefed on the incident. Such damage was also evident in a photograph of the building shared with the New York Times. Surprise, surprise. So it says Mr. Haniyeh had led Hamas's political office in Qatar, had stayed at the guest house several times when visiting Tehran. According to the Middle Eastern officials, all of the officials spoke on the condition of anonymity to share sensitive details about the assassination. Iranian officials and Hamas said Wednesday that Israel was responsible for the assassination, an assessment also reached by several US officials who requested anonymity. So yeah, that man already knew it was, the state of Israel, man. Them men obviously took him out, which who the fuck else is gonna, and to blow up, fucking whole ass building, to take one guy out. That's fucking wild, man. That shit is legit like a fucking spy movie. Like, man had the bomb planted from 2 months ago. And then they had like the thing we said, if you confirmed you entered the book, confirmed. The beep beep beep. And he got blown to hell. But again, it's all fermenting that situation where it's not calm and it's not slowing down. It's not becoming peaceable. It's all intensifying. Said Mr. Haniyeh, who had led Hamas's political office in Qatar, had stayed at the guest house several times when visiting Tehran, according to the Middle Eastern officials. So they even knew to that extent. So they might have schemed for him specifically, or might have been shared with other people. Who knows? 2 months is fucking wild though. I said 2 months. Fucking hell, that is funny. All of the officials spoke on the condition of anonymity to share sensitive details about the assassination. Iranian officials and Hamas said Wednesday that Israel was responsible. An assessment order is so reached by the US. The assassination threatened to unleash another wave of violence in the Middle East and upend the ongoing negotiations to end the war in Gaza. Mr. Haniyeh had been the top negotiator in the ceasefire talks. Which, that then just makes you think, yeah, they would want him taken out. Because obviously, Bibi, Netanyahu, he wanted to keep the conflict going. Because why? That guy was about to go to jail, man. Guy was about to get fucking headlocked and thrown into jail. He wasn't able to put a government together. And except for, the conflict taking place presently, that guy would have been out and he would have been decimated. Like his wife, I believe when it started, his wife was either just got out of jail, or was in jail for some fraud shit. So it's like the guy's a crook, obviously. And then you saw us, like, I watched his speech he gave at was it Senate or Congress? I can't remember. I don't know what the difference is when it's when dealing with the US. but either in Senate or in Congress, probably Senate. Um, he gave the speech, and he was, he's that orator, man, where it's you wouldn't even like the things to describe. You'd be like, damn, that shit will sound convincing, especially for people in the world. But then, yes, that's the way you even watch it. But that's really kind of that's the whole appeal, man. That's the whole draw. Um, with what's his face, with you know, with Esau is you can spin, can spin a tale, man. You can spin a good tale where it will seem justified, but it's that's a big part of how a lot of these nations around the world just get real simple, especially in the U.S. Because what them guys they think they're righteous, they think they're just, right? They think they're out, saving the free world out there. But it's BS. Um, what does it say? Israel's not publicly acknowledged responsibility for the killing, but Israeli intelligence officials briefed the U.S. and other Western governments on the details of the operation in the immediate aftermath, according to 5 Middle Eastern officials. Yeah, that's, whether they come out of it or not, it's all going to come down to politic. But, hold on, let me go back. So 1 Thessalonians 5:1, it says, "But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." Yeah. So that day of the Lord, that judgment, is going to come like a thief. But that's for the people in the world. That's why it's like these conflicts, people could think like, oh, peace talks started. They might have thought, oh, maybe it's going to stop. But what's the reality? Even if there is, a lull, there is a slowdown, these conflicts aren't done. It's the reason it's not gone to that full scope is why. It's because the angels are holding back the destruction for the sake of the elect, because everything's happening. It's all around and about the elect. It says, "But ye brethren are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober." And yeah, watching and being sober, because it's like we see these things happening. We see what's moving with the MOTB, see what's moving with the monetary system. Yeah, Trump mentioning Bitcoin, like that coming out of nowhere. And crypto's kind of been in the cut for a minute, but it's still kind of there. It's more been with the South American countries because of the lack of stability. But it's been in the cut. It's still there. But then, these things, all these systems. What you thinking about? It comes down to the MOTB. Comes down to that new system being brought in. Neuralink and whatnot as well. It's there. They're still doing these things, but it's not the forefront of most people's mind. Or people are looking at like, oh, I can't wait for that. Can't wait to jump on that. And that's most people in the world. They're simple. They don't know. They don't realize what these events entail. They can't line up with prophecy. Even these Christians as well, the guys that call themselves Israelites, they won't be able to tell you what the MOTB is. They'll see it and be like, okay, what if Neuralink comes out? You'd be like, you're gonna get one. These guys be like, they where's the basis for them to say to take it or to not take it? You gotta go back to the prophecies. You gotta go back to the scriptures, but they can't. With Joel 3:9, it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong." That's what you've had. There was that point in time where, Israel was the only, nuclear power in that region, state Israel. But then what? You've basically had it to where, Iran's built up, building up their arsenal, and then even other countries around about, and backing them to where it's all those, places where it would have once, American allies, European allies or whatever, that would be the bulwark, the defense. But then that's all come, that's all come to an end. Now you got nations where they're thinking like, yo, we can become the head, and that's the spirit. Because why? Everyone's being drawn in to that huge meat blender, man, that meat grinder that's gonna take place in the Middle East. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord Yahweh. And yeah, everyone's being drawn into that meat blender. Because why? Judgment. That's why. Judgment. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Yahweh Shaphat, the valley of the Most High's judgment. That's what they're being drawn in there to partake in. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And yeah, as far as it seems like, you go back to Revelation 11, where it's talking about, the nations basically coming together and celebrating and making merry after Jake got torn down, got broken down. Jake was in that destroyed state, and then what they celebrated, they made merry. Because why? Because they're thinking like, yo, we finally got the power over these guys. These guys can't torment us anymore. But then, the real last laugh, the real last hurrah is these guys being drawn in. This guy was thinking about peace, but then now the Most High wants, war, conflict, turmoil, and further, even more destructive. And then even more chaotic and destructive things as well to happen on the earth. Because why? It's that last hurrah. It's a punishment, it's a judgment, a level of destruction that's going to outstrip and outdo anything that's been seen before. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. It's funny, because even with these wars, it's like, after a few, because I remember it was the same thing with the Iraq war, when that was on TV. After a while, that shit blurred into nothing. That city, like, it just became normalcy. And that's the same thing that's happening with Ukraine. It's like there was a point in time when that first started off, everyone had their Ukraine flags out. Everyone was like, blah, 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 Ukraine. Since the Palestine conflict came, it's been forgotten. And then the next, little conflict to pop off, then people are going to be like, oh, it's the same. Because even with, like, Israel-Palestine shit is something that I've seen time and again. Just go back and forth to where it's like, it will be prominent and then it will wane. It'll be prominent and then it will wane. And then people won't give a flying fuck. Put in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, but the day of the Lord Yahweh is a near in the valley of decision. And yeah, like, people are gonna have all these, these things are gonna be in no remembrance when that judgment starts taking place, because it's gonna completely out of scale what's come before. And that's really, the joke. It's like, we've got people now lamentating, being seen like blown up kids and whatnot, in tears and in shock. They're not really prepared for what's to come. What's gonna come is gonna be immense. It's gonna outdo. It's gonna be fucking wild. Jeremiah 49:20. It says, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that you've taken against Edom, and these purposes that you've purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. And they're the key enemy, the key adversary, the key person against which that judgment is going to take place. Because why? They've been established in that role. And the Lord's basically raised them up, just like from Egypt. They've been set on a hill, they've been set on a height to where the whole world is looking like, yo, that's the most honorable, most greatest place. So when it's brought down, they remember the name of the power that did it, man. out the sides of the north. Edom's been set up. The so-called white man's been set up. America's been set up as that stronghold. So surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he will make their habitation desolate with them. And yeah, the least of the flock will draw them out, man. Those small hats. Them man are gonna be, the core that draws them out, to where they're gonna be found with a skirt up, the legs bare, fully exposed, and then judgment. But yeah, that's what all, these events you see happening is keeping the fire stoking. That's keeping the heat hot. Same thing where it's like, over here, it's like the racial tensions from 2016 over here in the UK. The racial tensions from like 2016 from the Brexit vote. You had like a huge uptick in like racial violence after that. It was like, I think it was 160%. It increased by an insane amount. And it's the same thing with the Southport incident, where they didn't even know, who the guy was who did it at the time. But then they'll start, burning mosques and whatnot. All those racial tensions are there, and these things are what? For the sake of the end, for the sake of when them judgments come to take place. Everyone's gonna get caught out there. But yeah, I leave it there. Shalom, shalom. Yabashim Shabashim Shalom.